DEP must also prohibit the application of any water or solid waste to any commonwealth soil. Thank you.
Starting in the back. Thank you.
Is everybody up there on the clock right now? Oh yeah, they're getting paid. They're getting paid, that's right. This is my 16th Pennsylvania here.
Listening to all this tonight gives me a little problem.
Sorry, could you state your name for the record?
I'm sorry. Richard IDE, 103 Warren Street, Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania. Listening to all this gives me a little problem tonight because I, together with my daughter, own 300 acres on top of the Mahoopany area. The drilling stopped at the bottom of our land, not far from where our property begins. And that driller and myself and my attorney, which I spent a good deal of money, over a period of a year or two, went back and forth 4, 5, 6 times, never getting a lease satisfactorily. Finally, the driller just threw up their hands and went to Ohio. This is the same driller today that a number of people have signed to in many counties, and that driller is not paying its royalties and is the subject of class action suits. So maybe that was a good thing. I don't know. Now we have a driller who is, I'm told, going to drill a test well further on down the mountain toward the line of death that was discussed before. If it turns out that we have gas under our land and we are going to be subject to more negotiations, after what I've heard tonight, do I really want to do that?
No.
No.
Save your
How?
Save yourself.
I'm not sure.
I'm sure.
I mean, what if they offer me $10 an acre? Or even more? What am I going to do? I don't know. Will I get paid? Will I get my royalty?
No.
These other people are in court, or they're going to be in court, or it may get settled. I don't know what's going to happen. So the more I hear, the more I wonder. Maybe it's fortunate that we didn't do anything. This same driller now that we're talking about has been mentioned here before. I'm not going to mention who it is. But they are guilty of having open pits all over the place, including, I believe, flowback water out of the wells, which is highly toxic. And I believe they have been storing flowback water above ground. You can check on that. They also were the same driller that was involved in the Alexco-Kilmer case. They were the so-called defendant. And due to their work in this case, we now have the problem that the first driller is exploiting the netback, which wipes out your royalty, and you don't get it because the poor driller, as we've heard from these other people who take care of you, need that 1/8 guaranteed minimum royalty to cover their overhead. The poor fellows don't have enough overhead to drill, so they need to take your royalty back. That's what it looks like. That was part of the argument, I think, with the Supreme Court, although I wasn't there. The Supreme Court was very sympathetic to the driller's problems. They overlooked a lot of things. We're stuck with that now. I don't know how it'll be settled. I hope it's settled well. I don't have much more to say. I'm weary. I'm weary listening to all this. I don't know whether you folks can do anything. The oil and gas industry is powerful. They've got you completely outclassed. They've got me outclassed. They've got lawyers that I hired outclassed. For 2 or 3 or 4 lawyers I've hired, they've got 40. They're smarter. They've been at this for 40 years. They know all the angles. They can twist any little phrase into meaning something else. I've got 1 minute left and I don't think I need it. I'm tired. I'm worn out. I don't know what to do.
Say no.
I've tried my best. I'm nowhere. Neither is my daughter, but we have a lovely place on the mountain.
Keep it.
And she lives up there. I live in the town. So what do I do? You tell me. You think about that. Thank you.
And I'm a student at Swarthmore College. Fossil fuel extraction is incompatible with health and climate stability. I want gas drilling to stop by 2015. I want to live in a world without the oil and gas industry. I ask the DEP to work to eliminate this industry as quickly as possible and facilitate a transition to a just and renewable energy-based economy.
Thank you, Laura. I'll work my way back to you. Is there anybody over here? Okay.
Just state your name and spell for the record.
Hi, my name is Sherry Andre, and I'm from Rhode Island. And I know that anything I have to say really doesn't affect your decision, but a group of us did drive up here, and I want you all to know those of you who are standing against oil and gas and fracking, that I feel like a lot of you may think that your voices aren't heard, but we hear you. I hear you. We drove over 9 hours to hear you, and we're going to continue to listen to you. And I want you to know that we want to stand with you, and we want you to keep talking to us, because we're afraid of the same things happening. And that's all I wanted to say. Just know that you have allies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Is there anybody else who would like to speak tonight? Okay then. With no other commenters present, on behalf of the EQP, I hereby adjourn this hearing at 9:15 p.m. Thank you very much for your participation. We appreciate having you here.
No, I don't personally. But the environmental... I like Alicia too now. We're all DEP staff today, but I was working on behalf of the Environmental Quality Board. So everything that you said tonight goes to the exact same place that all of the other